Hey guys, out for a walk in the woods again next to the Three Bears house. As I was told when I was young growing up, my parents didn't want my brother and I back here, so that was the Three Bears house. And the pond at the back of the field was where the big peeping toad lived. The peeping frog, not a toad. Toads are on land and frogs are in water, but nonetheless the peeping frog lived in the pond and would eat us if we got too close, and the Three Bears would get us if we came too close. So we stayed away of the woods, and now I try to get into this beautiful space where the sun beams and I can ground myself and connect to the delights and beauty of all that is always here for us, if only we are willing to stand in the light instead of turn away from it. Now, yesterday I made a video on my YouTube channel that you may or may not have watched yet about angry faces. And it is something I'd encourage you to go back and see, because there's other points in it too. But the reason that I was inspired to make that video is because there's a lot of conspiracy theories that are happening right now as to why all of what is happening is happening. And I've got a beloved grandmother in the hospital right now that no one can go and see and haven't been able to since March 18th, simply because we can't get in. You aren't supposed to go anywhere. But the crazy thing is that there's so much more to this than what we're being told. In fact, there are a lot of cases of people that are getting the diagnosis of having died after having been tested positive for COVID-19 that actually died of something completely different, but because they had tested positive, that was ultimately what is being deemed or labeled the cause of their demise. What we have to start paying attention to is the BS that we're sold. We have to start paying attention to why we're being sold that and whose agenda is it working for. The numbers are not adding up. There are people that die of the flu every year and heart disease and all other things every year. And yet we've shut the entire country, the entire world down. The economy has crashed. People whose businesses were thriving no longer are, because everybody is in fear. Just like I was told to fear the Three Bears house that's just a shack at the back of the farm, and the pond that had a frog that doesn't exist. We have to understand that we're being sold lies. Not saying which ones, because I don't know the truth. I am not claiming to have the answers. But what I am saying is that we need to actually reconnect with what we have been told to fear, which is our own divine nature, our ability to stand in the sun and be the one that actually has confidence to know what feels right, and then trusts that enough to not fear the dogma that we're being told is real and true. We are wolves, my friend, except we have been told we are sheep. There's a story about an eagle that was found by a farmer when he was still yet but an egg. And he was raised by ducks because that was the bird that sat on that egg with hers. And when the ducklings and the eagle hatched, they all followed their mama around, quack, quack. And the ducklings swam after her, but the eagle couldn't and judged himself so hard for it. And then one day, when they were all out in the barnyard, there was a shadow that flew overhead, and everybody ran inside for fear because of what was here. And he said, "What is that?" And they said, "It's an eagle." And he looked up in amazement, mesmerized by this thing that could cause so much fear. not realizing that he was that very thing, just an untrained version of it. And so are you and me, and we together, my friends, have so much more power than the lies that we have been sold by the ducklings who raised us. Not anything against our family, who some of whom are enlightened and switched on and others are not, depends who you came through. But your soul chose that too. For how they could love you or not love you the way you needed for your soul's evolution in order to step into who you came here to be. Feel how that feels to you. Think of it, but not just in your head, in your heart. Because when we merge the heart and the mind and the divine, then we become the holy humans that we came here to be, who stand in the light instead of the shadows, knowing that the shadows come too, because that is just ignorance. And ignorance is only the unknowing or the not knowing. So we came once again to a fork, two paths to choose from. And the question is, will you choose faith or will you choose fear? Until next time, Laura J. Namaste. The light in me honors the light in you. Thank you.